Hey guys, Joe here from TJ Designs. We're going to do a quick tutorial today. And Flexi Sign Pro is my software. Customer sent me this picture, said he needs a fire lane sign, which is going to be a standard 12 by 18 aluminum with radius corners. And I'm going to show you how I go ahead and design this so I can send the customer a quick proof. I'm going to grab our shape tool over here. I'm just going to draw a box. You can see I already have my radius corners set. I'm going to wireframe this. So in Flexi Design Central, which is right here, you can choose how you want your boxes, your shape tool. You can have regular square corners like this, or you can have a rounded corner like this, which is what we're using, or you can have an inverted corner, which clips in case you want a border or something like that. So I'm going to put this back on rounded. I'm going to change the size to 12 by 18. And then when we come down here, the radius on these standard come an 1.5 inches. Let's add 1.25 inches. So I'm going to change that to 1.5 inches. And that gives us a perfect radius on all four corners. Next thing we're going to do is this inline border right here, this red border. So we already have our shape selected. The outline is in effects. Go up to the top, effects, outline. And you can see it pops an outline inside right here. And that's a good distance right here that it comes in. But that's only going to give us one line. We want to come in, basically have this outside line and this inside line. So we want two lines. So if you come down here, you can see there's two lines down here. That's your inner inline. So if you go about a 1/2 inch, and now this one is too thick because this is set at almost a 1/2 inch. So this outside line, we're going to bring that in one click. Let's go 1/4 inch, 0.25. And you can see that brings it in. We'll select it to red. Go ahead and click the arrow. And there's your inline border right there. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to typeset this fire lane. Grab your text tool. Come over here. Set to about 1.25 inch height. Turn your caps lock on because these are all capital. I'm just going to type this out. Second line. And then we'll change that to red. Just going to size that out. Make it big enough. Make sure we have enough room. We need our circle up here, and we need the arrows down here. Bring it down just a little bit more. Can adjust this later. Okay, there we go there. Next thing is the double arrow at the bottom, which you can do depending on where the customer is putting the sign. You could have a left arrow, you can have a right arrow, double arrow, or you can have no arrow. He wants it just like this, so we're going to make 2 arrows. So go back up to my shape tool. My program comes with an arrow maker. So I'm going to select that. Click and drag, and you can see it makes a perfect arrow. If you hold the shift button, it stays nice and straight. So we're going to go about that size right there. Change it to red. And now to make this a double arrow like it is over here, I'm going to duplicate this. So it's already selected. If you hit the control button and then drag it, it duplicates it. And then I'm going to flip this around, go back into Design Central, hit the rotate tab, second one over, and you can do you can flip it upside down, Go back and forth, up, down, and go back up here. And this is the mirror, which is what we want. I'm gonna zoom in here. These are not centered, so I'm gonna just align these. Alignment tools are up here. I can align to the left, align to the right, top, bottom, middle centers, vertical centers, or top and horizontal and vertical centers. What I'm going to do is I want them to be straight across, so I'm going to hit this tab right here to the horizontal center, and that makes it so they're both perfectly centered. I'm going to zoom back out. You can see the size of this. I'm going to select this one over here and just move it over so it's on top of the other one. That looks pretty much the same. I'm going to make it a little bit larger, like so. Bring this up. I'm going to make this into a wire frame so I can show you what's going to happen here. You'll notice that both of these, if I put color into this, this is one arrow, this is the other arrow. They're overlapping each other. But if I cut this in vinyl, the machine is going to cut each arrow separately. And then it's going to cut over here, cut this one separately, which means there'll be a line here, and you could have a gap and they'll spread apart. So I want to make sure that the plotter just cuts it on the outside edge only and doesn't cut through anything. So what I'm going to do is weld both of these arrows together. If I come up here, these are all my combined tools. First one is weld. So as long as I have both of them selected, I'm going to hit that weld button, and now you notice everything in that middle is totally gone. So this is all one object now. Solid red. Zoom out. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Doesn't have to be exact. So the next thing we're going to do is do this parking P over here, or no parking P. I'm going to start with the circle. Back up to my shape tool. Click and hold, and it gives you all the different shapes that you can select in here. I'm going to click this circle tab, and then I'm just going to go over here, go into the center, click and drag, and that's going to make me a circle, just like that. Bring that over here, wireframe, so I can see what I'm doing. And now I want to come in and make, just like I did this outside, I'm going to make an inline border on it. So we're going to come up, effects, outline, and you can see it creates what I did over here, which is two lines, and it came in, but I don't want to do that. I want to come right off of this surface. So I'm going to get rid of this second spacing right here. Just bring that down to 0, and you can see now it only has one line, which I'm going to come out a little bit because this is a little bit thicker. So I'm going to bump this up. Let's go one more. There we go. Check that off, and there you go. Now we're going to do this cross line here. Go back into our shape tool, grab that rectangle, and we're just going to draw a box like that. Change that to red. And I'm going to select both of these, wireframe it so we can see. Zoom in here. So now you can see that this box is overlapping onto the circle. But again, when I cut this in vinyl, if I don't weld this together, it's going to cut the box, and then it's going to cut the circle, and then they're going to cut into each other. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to make sure first that this circle and this box are perfectly aligned. So I'm going to come up here to the furthest tab of my combine, which is both centers, and just click that. Now you didn't see much because I put it almost perfectly in center. But if I move this over, if I drew the box over here, and then I select both and hit both centers, you'll see it move right over to perfect center. There you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld all this together, but I want to make sure everything is still centered. Okay. Might be, yeah. When I did this inline, it created an additional line. So sometimes you got to be aware of that. We're going to delete that. Again, align these, perfect center. And we're going to weld all these together. First tab over here. Now you can see there's no overlap anymore. It's going to cut these inside pieces and then fold outside. Change that to solid color. And zoom out. So now, when we do the P, obviously we don't want this line going straight up and down. This is at like a 45-degree angle here. So we're going to select this whole box, go into Design Central, into our Rotate tool. In the top here, you can change the direction of which way it's going to go, which it goes by. If I click this, you can see 5-degree increments. So we're going to go all the way over to 45. And done. You can see, there we go. The last thing is we want to put a P behind there for no parking. Go into our text, go over here, do a capital P, make this bold, and we're going to make this, stretch this out big enough so people can see it. Now this is in the front. We want that in the back like it is over here. So while this is still selected, we're going to right click, go down to order, and we're going to send this P to the back of the substrate, and that puts it behind everything. If you had a solid color blank, so if I click this outside, separate the inline, and I change this, right now it's a wireframe. If I change this to white and make it solid, now you can see it's in front of that P because I sent that P to the back. That's going to put it behind everything. So if that happens and you lose your P, select the box, right click, order to back. There you go. I'm going to change this back to black so the customer can see an outline. And that's it. That's fully designed there. We're going to make sure that everything is aligned properly. I'm going to take this P, I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller, and I'm going to group it together so it stays together. Control G. Now if this was over here, if nothing was aligned like this, I'm going to select everything, go back up to my alignment tools, and I'm going to hit just a vertical up here. Click on that, and that aligns everything vertically. I don't want to do horizontally because everything is ungrouped. If I did that, it's going to put everything together like that. So Control Z undoes everything. Last thing we want is these holes usually come standard. It's about an inch, almost an inch and 3/4 to the center, from the edge of the sign to the center. So you want to kind of make sure, like you can see this hole here kind of digs into this circle, which means you'll have to cut that a little bit. And then there's a bolt that kind of goes over it. So you want to kind of be aware of where you're placing your letters. So what I'm going to do is just draw a box. I'm going to make it 1.75. Zoom in here so I can make sure I'm on the edge. Wireframe that. So if I put this on the edge, that top hole is going to be right about here. The center of that hole is right on the edge of this. So what I want to do is I want to take this P and I'm just going to move that down just enough so I know that that bolt is not going to hit any vinyl and I don't have to cut anything out. If I take this, go down to the bottom, which we know we have plenty of room down here. So that next hole will be right around here, which we don't have to move anything because we're plenty far enough away. But sometimes you'll have a lot more lettering. If it's a no parking sign, you know, towed at owner's expense, there could be a lot more lettering down here, and you have to be aware of where those holes are because you don't want to cut into a letter. It just looks unprofessional. So there we go. That's a 12 by 18 fire lane parking sign. I'll take this, I'll email it to the customer if he's happy. I'll cut red vinyl, I'll cut the black P, and we'll be done. Take care.